The Federal Reserve made its second consecutive interest rate cut of the year on Wednesday, which was widely expected. What wasn't expected was how the Fed Chair Jay Powell pushed back against the same expectations that the Fed would automatically cut interest rates again in December.
A further reduction in the policy rate at the December meeting is not a foregone conclusion. Far from it.
Some officials are worried about the labor market getting weaker. Others are more worried about high inflation. Normally, the data comes in and tells you, here's really where things are, and that narrows the differences. The government shutdown has deprived the Fed and Jay Powell of the data that might help smooth over those decisions.
And at a time when we have tension between our two goals, we have strong views across the committee. And as I mentioned, there were strongly differing views today.
There have been some high-profile layoff announcements from big companies in recent days, and Powell was asked about those.
We're watching that very carefully, and yes, it could absolutely have implications for job creation. We don't really see it in the initial claims data yet.
There was a question on Wednesday over, well, what do you do if the government still hasn't reopened and you're not getting these statistical releases that you use to shape your policy decisions? He seemed to be somewhat dismissive of the idea.
What do you do if you're driving in the fog? You slow down. So that could or could not. I don't know how that's going to play into things. We may get, the data may come back, but there's a possibility that it would make sense to be more cautious about moving. I'm not committing to that. I'm just saying it's certainly a possibility that you would say, we really can't see, so let's slow down.
The big question is, do we get the data turned back on? If you don't, then you're relying on corporate earnings, surveys, which has its uses, but it's usually the sort of information that adds to the existing government data. It can't really replace it. That's what I'm going to be watching, because that's ultimately going to determine whether the Fed cuts interest rates again in December.